Hello and welcome to this video. You will enjoy this video. It will open your eyes to the truth of what apostasia is, especially when we look at the Hebrew word. The Hebrew word that is used, which is the same as apostasia. Now in the last video we looked at the first place in the Old Testament where apostasia is used. And we saw that it is in Joshua chapter 22, verse 22. That's right, Joshua chapter 22, verse 22. We looked at it and we saw how Joshua wrote these words. The Lord God of gods, he knoweth, and Israel he shall know, if it be in rebellion. Yes, the Greek word that's used there is apostasia. Apostasia, which is what we read in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3, is rebellion. It is apostasy. And as we read here, if it be in rebellion, if it be in apostasia, or if in transgression against the Lord, save us not this day, that we have built us an altar to turn from following the Lord. That's what apostasia is. That's what rebellion is. When one turns from following the Lord and goes and does something that is transgression. And that transgression in Joshua chapter 22 is to turn from following the Lord to build us an altar. Now the Greek word, as I said, is apostasia, which is rebellion, and it's a noun. Yes, it's a noun. So yes, apostasia is a noun in Joshua 22 verse 22. It's a name. It's an event. I now want to show you what the Hebrew word is that we see in verse 22 in the Hebrew text. Because if the Greek word has a meaning, then the Hebrew word, which is the equivalent to apostasia, should have the same meaning. And that Hebrew word that we find in Joshua 22 verse 22 is mered. Mered is a masculine noun meaning rebellion. Well, there you go. Mered, which is Hebrew, is a noun and its meaning is rebellion. Rebellion, the same as apostasia, is rebellion. It's a noun. So apostasia is exactly the same as mered. They're both nouns. Apostasia is rebellion. Mered is rebellion. This is what Paul was talking about in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Verse 3, a rebellion. That's right, a rebellion. So the truth is this. Whenever there is a rebellion, which is the noun, there is always an action. And that action is to rebel. If a person rebels, that person is then in rebellion. When rebellion takes place, people are rebelling. Now I want to show you some more about this rebellion, and especially this action of rebelling in Joshua chapter 22, verse 22. So mered is a masculine noun meaning rebellion, and this word mered, that is a noun, comes from the verb marad. Marad. It comes from this verb. Now let's look in Joshua chapter 22 and let's look at some verses where this marad is used, this verb rebel. Joshua 22 verse 16. Thus said the whole congregation of the Lord, what trespass is this that you have committed against God of Israel, to turn away this day from following the Lord, in that you have built an altar that you might rebel this day against the Lord. There is the action, there is the verb, that they might rebel by turning from following the Lord and building an altar. The next place is used in verse 18, that you must turn away this day from following the Lord, and it will be seeing you rebel today against the Lord, that tomorrow he will be wroth with the whole congregation of Israel. There's that action to rebel again, which relates to rebellion. Here's the next verse, 22:19. Notwithstanding that if the land of your possession be unclean, then pass ye over unto the land of the possession of the Lord, wherein the Lord's tabernacle dwells, and take possession among us, but rebel not against the Lord, nor rebel against us in building you an altar beside the altar of the Lord our God. So the rebelling relates to turning from following the Lord and building another altar. It's rebelling against the Lord. Next verse, Joshua 22 verse 29. God forbid that we should rebel against the Lord and turn this day from following the Lord to build an altar for burnt offerings, for meat offerings, or for sacrifices beside the altar of the Lord our God that is before his tabernacle. We can see what rebellion is. We can see what apostasia is. We can see what merid is. We can see what marad is. We can see what Paul was talking about in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. The apostasia that Paul spoke of in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3 is the same as the Hebrew word merid, the same as the verb marad, and it's a rebellion. It's to rebel. When one rebels, the rebellion takes place. This rebellion is what Paul spoke of in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a rebellion, a apostasy first, and that the man of sin might be revealed, the son of perdition. We're only in the first place in Old Testament where apostasia is used, in Joshua. In the next video, I'm going to look at the next place in the Old Testament where this Greek word apostasia is used. And again, you will see it doesn't mean to just depart from a room or a house or a town or a city or a regional area. You will see that it relates to sinning against God. You will see that it relates to rebelling. You will see that it is a apostasy. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please share it with others. Thank you for watching.